ex-husband were married in 2001, and we were very happy. We were married 4 years before we decided to have children. And when we made that decision, we both decided that I would be a traditional wife, a stay-at-home mom, and raise the kids while my ex-husband worked. That one kid turned into 2 kids pretty quickly, and we were a happy family. My kids were 21 months apart, and they were a handful. I was the consummate stay-at-home mom, always having events at my house with small kids, the perfect birthday parties, days at the pool, trips to see Thomas the Tank Engine, all of it. I loved it, and we were in love. But then life started lifing, and my ex-husband was concerned about the economy and us continuing on one income. Looking back on it in hindsight, I really think this was the start of the end. So I got a job back in the library after going to grad school, after jumping from the school to the county to back to my home county, and things were good. Until the worst thing happened that I could ever imagine. My sister, Sean, died of an aneurysm. She was 43 years old. It took us for a loop. My family was devastated. We didn't know what to do. We had never had anyone die from an aneurysm to our knowledge, but it was a common thing on my father's side. I was lost, lonely, hurt, empty, and I slid into a depression. And that depression took a toll on my marriage. I won't say it was my fault or if it was his fault. I will say it was our fault. And we agreed to get a divorce, which was hard to go through at the time, but now looking back, I know it was the right thing. So after a year of renting, I built my own house, and my ex-husband kept the other house because it was more than I wanted. And I liked my little neighborhood. My job was going good, and I was living my best life. I was going out, taking my kids camping, reuniting with friends, going on a boat. That was a pontoon boat ride. Going by myself to a cabin on the river, camping by myself, camping with friends. But then COVID-19 showed up. And I'm so glad I did all of those things because COVID-19 put a stop to it all. The library was closed, and I was at home alone because I shared custody with my ex-husband, so I didn't have my kids but every other week. So I started gardening, and this is the first thing I grew. I started growing in containers. That was a kiddie pool, and it was kind of hit or miss. I started fermenting, and I was doing okay. Then I starting my own seeds, and that's an addiction. And I did all this in my living room. I would grow in buckets and solo cups, and I would can, pickle, make tomato sauce. I even had a little makeshift greenhouse in my backyard. And I was doing good. I was learning how to grow and experimenting with different vegetables that I didn't. I finally got those carrots right, y'all. Learned how to grow my favorite flower. Started composting. made some vinegar. I did all this in the suburbs in my little house. And that was my little harvest, if you can call it that. That one was a little better. And that was my biggest tomato harvest. And I dried some things, and I made hot sauce. And I just learned where I was. Cooking from scratch, that is a skill I learned. And everything was just great until I broke my ankle. I slipped outside watering my plants. It was during this time that things came into focus for what was really, really important to me. Thanks for listening so far. Please like and subscribe. So I was sitting by myself in my house, looking out my window at my garden. Everything that mattered to me was in my garden. I didn't care about my job. I didn't care about my house. All I cared about was being outside in that garden. No one was helping me. No one was offering to come over and help water my plants. So I decided if I could be alone in the city, I could be alone homesteading. So I called my mom and asked could I have my grandmother's land. And that's how it all began. The land that my grandmother saved for while my great uncle was in the army. She saved up the money he sent home to her and bought those 2 acres of land. And that is where our homestead is now. And I hope you will follow Jen to homestead and experience my journey. Thank you for watching.